Okay, so I have enough record time because, phones, man. I've had this phone for a while and the whole storage thing. But yes, enough about my life. I'm Callie. This is part 2 to my video. Maybe they're merged together. If they are, then erase everything I just said. Forget about everything I just said. So, okay, I'm in court going for a 7-year warrant for failure to complete. Pretty much it was a probation violation. And I show up there on my court date, and they're like, well, you're not going to see the judge today, but we want to put you in jail for 30 days. And I was like, I'm absolutely not going to jail. I do not consent to that. There's no way you can put me in jail. And the defender, the attorney, public defender, got all huffy puffy, rolling his eyes, acting like a child. And I was like, excuse me, sir, I have all this recorded, which maybe I'll even post my recording. Because all of this was being recorded. Me talking to the lawyer, me talking to the judge. I go in there, have a seat. He comes up and sits by me during while the judge was doing his stuff, and he was like, okay, sorry, we got off on the wrong foot. I apologize. I've had a rough day. And I said, that's not my problem. And he's like, well, let's start over. Or no, he said, I've had a rough day. Let's talk about this. And I was like, I don't want you as my defender. Like, you're already done. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. And he was like, what? Excuse me? He was like, come with me. So I followed him outside where he was like, okay, let's start over. We got off on the wrong foot. And I was like, what do you want to say? And he's like, I apologize. And he said, tell me your story. And I'm like, you don't even know my story? You're my public defender. You had how much time to read my case file and you didn't? Like, I'm not giving you another chance, man. And he got all huffy, got all angry. He stormed and he said, fine, I'll go talk to the judge. Like, no joke. This guy was like rolling his eyes, like just acting crazy. He was acting so crazy. And I was just like, right now. I can't even believe this. I was just shocked. I was calm. I was like, Mr. McDonald. You guys would have been proud of me. I was proud of myself. I remained calm, and I knew that day. I knew I had faith. I had my energies. Like, I knew I wasn't going to go to jail that day, and everything was going to work out. So he goes in there, okay, starts talking to the judge, which I know he's talking about me. And I'm like, no, excuse me. I want to speak to the judge. Because he came back and was like, they're going to give you another public defender. And I was like, no, I want to speak to the judge. I don't need no public defender. I personally want to speak to the judge. And he's like, well, the judge won't talk to you. And I was like, excuse me. I made a big scene. He said, come with me again. So I followed him out. The bailiff actually followed me. And he said, excuse me, miss. Excuse me. You want to talk to the judge? Come here, little girl. Like, because I look young, they think I was like a kid. And I'm a grown woman. You ain't going to treat me like a child. I'm a grown woman. And I will be treated as such, okay? So I was completely like, blown away by how these people were acting. So I get up there. The judge says, okay, so why don't you deserve to go to jail, pretty much? And I was like, because as far as I was concerned, I completed my probation. Like, how are you going to put me in jail for something 7 years ago? And he asked me a bunch of questions, and I was like, no, forget about your questions. I want to talk about this public defender you have. And he says, what about him? And I said, how are you going to allow your public defender to treat your clients like this man? And he said, what do you mean? I've known him for years. He's always been great. And I said, he's huffing, he's puffing, he's rolling his eyes at me. I mean, I can't even believe how this man acted. And he says, well, that aside, let's talk more about you. And so I told him the information he wanted to know. I moved to Indiana. I was out of the state. Like, you can't, what jurisdiction do you have on me? You can't make me live here. I was gone. I had stuff to do. I had a life to live. I left, okay? What? You can't hold me. You can't do something 7 years later, okay? So he starts yakking. It's not going good. So I'm like, so where can I file a complaint? And he's like, what are you going to file a complaint about? And I said, your public defender. Like, I'm not over this. I'm sorry, but the way he treated me was not acceptable. Not acceptable at all. Like, this is not okay. And he was like, he realized I wasn't going to drop it. And he realized that this man, you know, to be honest, I should have, like, went public in my own town about this. I should have, like, really, because it's a scam. Public defenders are not there to help you. They are there to, like, help the system. They just want to give you jail time. They want to get as much money as they can from you. I learned this the hard way, that public defense, the guy didn't even read my case file. He had no idea who I was, what I did. He didn't even know what I did. And he's like, we want to put you in jail for 30 days. Like, no, you ain't. No, you ain't about to put me in jail for 30 days. I'm sorry, I got a life to live. I'm not about to go to jail 7 years later. I mean, I was a kid then, man. No. So the judge, he's like, what do I do? She's not going to drop this. And she really actually does have, you know, like, she's got a point. The public defender can't act like a child. Like, this man yelled at me. He rolled his eyes at me. Like, who did he think he was? And still to this day, I'm just like, this guy's terrible. And he still is, like, the main public defender. The main one. Okay? So the judge says, okay. Do you have $50 today? And I was like, yeah, I have $50 today. He said, okay, how about you pay $50 and I terminate your probation and drop the case? And I said, yes, okay, go ahead. I will pay the $50. You can terminate my probation and drop this whole case. So he gave me a little piece of paper, which somewhere around here, and it says, my name, was released from probation because I failed to complete my requirements. Bravo, okay? Who gets released from probation because they failed to meet their requirements? Honestly, had I not stuck up for myself that day, I probably would have went to jail. But I was like, there's no way. Some man, when I was like getting arraigned, or not arraigned, but when I was talking to the prosecutor, some man was sitting in there and he said, you don't have to consent to anything. Like, if you don't consent, they can't do it. The reason why they put people in jail, they make them pay all these fines, is because they consent to it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. I'll try not consenting. So, I did that. I don't know if it was the non-consenting that worked, or if it was the public defender being such a jerk that ended up getting me off that day. But that's my quick story of my run-in with the law. I mean, this you gotta understand, I've been in juvenile homes twice in my life. You know, I went to a secure lockup where they put me in lockup. I had a tether on my leg, okay? I was in there with people who did horrible things, and all I did was I got caught drinking when I was 15. Like, come on. That system is... And it was because the judge hated my family. He had beef with my grandfather. He was my father's lawyer against my mother. He kept calling my mother by my father's last name. He was a jerk. So he sent me off, and I was there with people who did horrible stuff. It was awful. But yeah, that's a story for a different time. That's all for today, you guys. Yeah. That system, man. We need to seriously take a look at our judicial system, because it is whack. It is whack, okay? People are suffering hardcore. I'm lucky. I will say it's maybe because I'm a white female. Seriously. But I don't know. That's all for me, you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you guys want, like, comment, let me know what you think. Share, subscribe. All right? Other than that, take it easy. I will see you guys next time.